On a gorgeous day in Las Vegas, it's the night session of the Mountain West Tournament quarterfinals, next on CBS Sports Network. Michael Jordan. I won it! Wow! Oh my goodness! How about that? Oh boy! Unbelievable! Dreams to come true. As good as it gets. Best time of the year in college basketball. You're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota. From Las Vegas, it's the Mountain West Conference Tournament. Earlier today, Nevada and San Diego State advancing to the semifinals. Two more spots in the semis on the line tonight, starting with the 2-seed Utah State against number 7 New Mexico. And hi everyone, welcome to the Thomas and Mack Center with former Villanova coach Steve Lapis. I'm Andrew Catalan. Evan Washburn will join us as well. Utah State and New Mexico, we'll see them first, Coach Lapp. They met twice during the regular season. Utah State won them both, but the game at New Mexico was a tight one with Utah State just pulling it out.
Yeah, New Mexico was up 1 with 30 seconds to go, but you got to look at this Utah State team and be really surprised about where they are. They were picked 9th in the preseason, and here they are on the cusp of getting an NCAA at-large bid. This should be a really good game because New Mexico also playing a little bit better lately.
Preseason-wise, everyone was talking about Nevada, as they should, but at the end of the regular season, Utah State earning a lot of those headlines, Coach.
And nobody would have predicted that they would be right there with Nevada. Nevada was supposed to win the Mountain West easily this year. They ended up tied. They lost the tiebreaker and on the 2-seed, but what a year for the Aggies.
And if you haven't seen Utah State, you've missed one of the best players in the country. This guy, Sam Merrill.
Wow, a 39% three-point shooter, but the thing about him, he has a great floor game also. Over 4 assists a game. This guy makes threes, he sets up his teammates, and he gets to the free throw line a lot. He is the best player in the league this year, as witnessed by that there being the Mountain West Player of the Year. Then you have Anthony Mathis. Anthony Mathis from New Mexico, tremendous season, a great three-point shooter. He made 103 three-point shots this year. He also is playing a lot of point guard for New Mexico right now, which makes it a little bit tough on him because that's not really his natural spot. But this guy shoots with deep range, goes off the dribble, gets to the free throw line. But he's going to need some help. He's going to need some help from Vance Jackson. He's the transfer from UConn, had a great game the other night, 26, 8, and 5. A really good all-around player. They're going to need him against Utah State.
New Mexico beat Wyoming in the first round yesterday. Trying to pull the upset tonight against Utah State. The tip-off is next on CBS Sports Network.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Kubota's BX Series, the #1 selling subcompact tractor in the USA. By AT&T, more for your thing. That's our thing. And by Reese's Peanut Butter Cups. Not sorry, Reese's.
Starting lineups being introduced here in Las Vegas, moments away from the tip-off between Utah State and New Mexico as we say hello to the third member of our team, Evan Washburn.
Andrew, good to be with you. That age-old question, rest versus rust. Well, Utah State hasn't played a game in 9 days, but Craig Smith will tell you that it was critical. They were emotionally and physically drained at the closing end of the regular season. That Nevada win and then OT win at Colorado State. On the flip side, New Mexico's played 3 games over the course of that time. They seem to have found themselves once again. Holweir said after their loss to Wyoming last Saturday, they've now returned to that style, that frenetic pace that we saw in this tournament a year ago. And if Utah State, guys, comes out sluggish, New Mexico can pounce.
All right, Evan, thank you very much as we take a look at tonight's starting lineups brought to you by Kubota. And for New Mexico, Carlton Bragg nearly averaging a double-double, 10 points, 9 rebounds per game. And for Utah State, we already hit on Sam Merrill, but also the freshman, Neemias Queta, has had a phenomenal season. He was named the Mountain West Freshman of the Year earlier this week. Teams met in the Mountain West Tournament semis a year ago. New Mexico won that one before losing to San Diego State in the championship game. And Steve, we've been here now a number of years in a row. No surprise to hear this building rocking for the Lobos. They call it the Pit West, and I'd say it's about 80-20 in favor of New Mexico fans.
There's a whole lot of red in this place. There's no doubt about it.
Our officials tonight: Eric Curry, Bob Staffen, Tom O'Neill. Underway, and here goes Quinn Taylor, and he missed the lay-in. Interesting start as New Mexico comes the other way. And wide open is Dane Kuiper.
Well, it looks like this New Mexico team is going to look to try to get back to that attacking style. They go right to the full court press early. Let's watch this, though. Utah State, one of the best passing teams in the country. 61% of their baskets are assisted.
Nearly a steal, but Keita able to come away with it. And now Utah State will set up its offense. But already just 10 on the shot clock because of the pressure. Here's Merrill driving in the lane, and he hits his first attempt.
I can't tell you how many shots Sam Merrill takes that hit the front of the rim, the back of the rim, and go in.
Sam Merrill, the Mountain West Player of the Year. In conference game, he averaged 22 points per night. That led the league. It's Jackson driving and using the glass.
This team is very capable offensively. I think one of the main problems for New Mexico throughout the season has been no real point guard.
This pressure bothering the Aggies. They're able to break it. Brock Miller steps into a three and buries it.
That's one of the tough things about pressing a team that shoots the ball so well from the three-point line. You open up those transition threes when you press full court.
New Mexico forced 16 turnovers yesterday in their first-round win against Wyoming.
Interesting doubling Carlton Bragg, the transfer from Kansas. And Arizona State, I might add.
Sat out last year with the Sun Devils, never played, and then came here to New Mexico, and there is Bragg losing it out of bounds.
That's a really good reverse pivot and pass. Boy, he's got to handle that one. He had his man sealed up really well that time.
Full court pressure from the Lobos.
Yeah, they're bringing it on early.
Porter will set it up. Keita falls to the ground, able to get up in the lane. Utah State 25-6 this year. Co-regular season champions with Nevada. Keita's been a big reason why, and he doesn't get the roll there, trying to get it back. Miller has it, and he's tied up. And the ball will go over to New Mexico. Paul Weir in his second season as the Lobos head coach. And his team has won 3 of their last 4 entering tonight. Craig Smith, the Mountain West Coach of the Year in his first season at Utah State after the previous 4 as the head coach at South Dakota.
And Paul Weir goes to Keith McGee early to get Anthony Mathis off the ball. I think that's a good move. He's a better 2 than he is a 1, Mathis.
Jackson faked the 3, and on the floor we have a foul. Well, one of the other things Paul Weir talked about, Coach, is if they're going to do this full court pressure, he's going to have to use his bench a lot tonight, try to keep these guys fresh. We saw that yesterday when they pretty much used most of their bench, and they're going to look to do that again tonight. Yeah, a lot of substitutions.
When you come back 24 hours later playing this style, you definitely have to do that.
Blocked by Keita. He leads the conference with 2.5 blocks per game.
One of the best in the nation at that.
Porter corner 3 won't go, and the rebound to McGee. Key races up ahead, and it's poked away. Another turnover by New Mexico.
And that's been one of their problems all year. They average over 14 turnovers a game. That is a big number.
Taylor from the corner. Hasn't been a friendly spot for Utah State here in the first 3 minutes. McGee, deep 3. Off the front of the rim, right to Taylor. And after a fast start, it slowed down a little bit, with Utah State leading by 1. Winner advances to the semifinals against the winner of our late one tonight here in Vegas. between Fresno State and Air Force. Malawach 2-on-1. Into the corner it goes. Mathis for three. Malawach tips it up. And a fresh shot clock for New Mexico.
Well, that Mathis is usually a guaranteed make.
The one's gone ice cold as Jackson misfires. And the teams are now a combined 1 for 6 beyond the arc. Coach, Evan told us about it, but 9 days since the last game for Utah State. What do you look for early to see if there's some of that rust?
Well, the thing you want to see is how crisp is the ball movement. Right now, they haven't been real crisp. You know, Merrill loses the ball over there, gets it poked from behind, so not real sharp early on in this game from one of the best passing and ball handling teams in the entire nation.
Yeah, I know Evan told us that Craig Smith welcomed it as the lay-in is there for Dwayne Brown. But you're not used to having 9 days off in the course of a season. Maybe you have a bye, you get 4 or 5. 9's a long time.
Especially at this time of year.
Mathis 3. Another miss by New Mexico, and the rebound to Diogo Brito. Corner lobs it for Cada, but a great defensive play by Malawach. Here's the freshman Drew Drennan, who's done a nice job at Smyrna, Georgia this year. Drennan fakes the three, drives baseline, and his 13-footer gets the bounce.
That's a real bonus because this kid is a real point guard. He's not a combination guard, so if they can get him playing better, that will really help.
And he only averages 2 points per game. He's done a good job distributing the basketball this year.
I'll tell you, New Mexico has been...
Brown is fouled.
They've been pretty disruptive so far in this game.
14:58 to go in the first half. And Utah State leads New Mexico by 1. You're watching Bracket Week, presented by Kubota. Just over 5 minutes in, Utah State, the 2 seed in the Mountain West tournament, has a 1-point lead as we take a look at who's best in the West, brought to you by Best Western. And for Utah State, their NCAA tournament resume, our bracketologist Jerry Palm has them as a 9 seed in the tournament, a net ranking of 30. Utah State trying to get in the tournament for the first time since 2011. And Coach, early on, trying to break this New Mexico press.
And this is a classic way to break the press. They do a great job of getting the ball here to Brito, but watch what happens when it comes to Vance Jackson getting here. He's supposed to run back full speed to get under the basket, which he does not do, and he allows them to get a layup here. So that's Vance Jackson, the weak side guy, has to get under the basket on that. He jogged, and that's why they gave up a layup.
Utah State carrying a 7-game win streak into tonight. They started Mountain West play 1-2, but since then they've won 14 of their last 15, including that incredible win at home. What a scene it was when they beat Nevada. Jackson season opening, attacks and the foul.
Utah State, the reason why they've been good this year, obviously besides Sam Merrill, is how good they are in their half-court defense. That was not an example. Vance Jackson gets all the way to the basket here, and nobody steps in to help. And that doesn't usually happen against Utah State. They usually force you to take contested shots from the perimeter and don't allow penetration like that.
And Steve, that foul was on Quinn Taylor, the senior forward, and that was his second foul. So Taylor to the bench.
They're intent on speeding this Utah State team up.
Brown the way. He missed it with the left hand, and the rebound to Corey Manigault. Jackson feeds Manigault. Bodies to the ground, no call. Keita grabs the rebound, and did he travel? Yes, he did. Turnover by the freshman Keita.
Yeah, he tripped over his own man.
Utah State already with their 4th turnover.
I'll tell you what,
you're seeing a lot of substitutions, Steve.
Yeah,
New Mexico keeping it fresh.
And one thing we are seeing also with New Mexico's half-court offense is Vance Jackson handling the ball a lot and really being effective getting by his man. He's playing almost the point guard.
Foul away from the ball. That's going to go on Carlton Bragg. Bragg locked up with Keita there. Wow.
I don't know about that.
Now Bragg will go out. His first foul.
I didn't see a whole lot there, Andrew. And this full court 1-2-1-1 press. It's accomplishing its goal, which is to get this tempo going a little bit and make Utah State make some decisions in transition.
Brito, offensive foul. It's Malawach who takes the charge.
These are the kinds of plays that when you press full court, you force to happen. A little bit speeded up, not used to playing the tempo that they want to play. They make you attack New Mexico in transition. You got to be ready for that.
Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
And just to add to this, guys, I mentioned it off the top, but they abandoned this style for the most part about Christmas time because Paul Weir just didn't feel like it was putting him in the best chance. But again, Saturday of this past week is when they returned to it, and they seem really comfortable with it.
And you know, I got to say this, I think it's tough when a coach comes in and has a style he wants to establish, and then he abandons it because things aren't going great. Not a great idea.
Turnovers continue to mount for Utah State, already with 6, and now back-to-back possessions.
A team that averages about 12 a game.
And I tell you what, Utah State, this is a road game for them. I know it's a neutral court, but with all these Lobos fans in the house, this feels like a New Mexico home game.
They're not even guarding Pinch up there. You see Keita way back off of him.
Malawach. Hands off from Manigault. Shot clock at 5. Turnaround no good, and a whistle inside. And another foul on New Mexico. That's on Pinchuk.
New Mexico does foul a lot, but they also have a lot of depth.
Merrill's been quiet so far, just over 7 minutes in, and New Mexico leading by 1. Miller, 3. Yes.
Boy, this kid can really shoot the ball.
76% of his field goal attempts are 3-pointers. So when he's got the ball beyond the arc, there's a very good chance he's going to take that shot. Meanwhile, speaking of beyond the arc, New Mexico is 0 for 5 from deep to start this game. Malawach, that's a tough shot off the front of the rim.
Yeah, he tried to take a fadeaway there. Contested hard.
McGee had a nice play to Manigault for 2. Tied at 11. Brito, dangerous pass. Miller inside, Bean. And he draws the contact.
Well, one of the things that this pressure does also, Andrew, with Merrill bringing the ball up the floor, they're passing it up the floor. It kind of keeps him out of the game a little bit if they're not going to play in the half court at all. So it's not a bad way to go. Let some of these other guys try and beat you and try to keep Merrill out. Right now, they're doing a great job with their press of keeping Merrill quiet.
Fouls on Pinchuk. That's his second. Throws good for the redshirt freshman Justin Bean. Pinchuk exits I feel like we're watching a hockey game with New Mexico. Line changes with all these substitutions by Paul Weir.
This is kind of how they played last year. And they got away from it. Not subbing as much, not pressing as much. And now in the last week or so, we decided we're going to go back to what we did.
Timeout with 11:52 to go in the first half. Utah State, the 2 seed, they lead by 1. You're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota.
Not just high-level basketball here in Las Vegas, the Mountain West Conference Tournament. It's the only conference tournament where player movement and basketball metrics are being tracked at an unbelievable level. This sensor is in the uniform of every player playing in this tournament. It is also in the ball here. Let me see how my hands are. Good work. It's also in the ball, and the data is being given to coaches at halftime and at the end of the game. Fans can also get this data off a shot tracker app that, again, tracks all movement and the metrics. And guys, as you can see, the graphics are very pretty. And I've talked to the folks at Shot Tracker. They've also agreed to put one in Coach Lappis's clothes for the remainder of his time here in Vegas. So every movement and everything that he maybe does while here will be cataloged for everyone to see.
Are those sensors allowed in the bar, Evan?
I thought Waze was cool, but this is unbelievable. Think about it. This is unbelievable.
No,
you get to see and follow everything. You know where all the shots are taken from. There's that chart right there. And you would think that inside the lane there, you're going to go 4 for 4.
Yes.
That makes sense.
No, it's so neat, that especially it's in the ball. You don't even hear that very often. So kudos to the Mountain West and to the folks at Shot Tracker for bringing us this incredible technology this week at the Mountain West Tournament. First foul on Cato.
I'll tell you, I'm watching this New Mexico. I've seen them play a lot during the year, but I'm watching them live. They have talent. It's like they didn't achieve the way I think they could have achieved. A lot of that has to do with the point guard situation, which definitely hurt them throughout the year.
Turnover, Bean the other way. Bean takes a bump and lays it in.
He's played well, that kid. Been very valuable coming off the bench.
When you talk about New Mexico, lack of a point guard, and you look at their season, Coach, they lost 8 straight on the road to close out the year. So without a point guard and some newer faces, as Manigault gets it to go, that could cause some problems on the road, and certainly did this year for the Lobos. Nice turnover, number 7. CBS Sports Network brings you Conference USA tournament coverage starting tomorrow when we tip off some semifinal action at 1:30 Eastern. Right here on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports, Old Dominion, the number 1 seed. And they've already advanced on to the semis tomorrow. Again, right here on CBS Sports Network. Chance of Lobos here at the Thomas and Mack Center. Strangely enough, Utah State did not play in the Thomas and Mack Center this year. The only Mountain West team that did not play at UNLV. As you see Craig Smith, the Mountain West Coach of the Year.
I'll tell you, Vance Jackson is a handful for them because of his ability. He's strong, he's big, and he can put the ball on the floor.
Turnover by New Mexico, and then a foul. That's the second on Bragg.
That was a very good note. I mean, he ran into Mathis.
So we've had 10 fouls in less than 10 minutes.
This game right now, right up New Mexico's alley. This press has really set a tempo. Even when it hasn't turned the ball over, Utah State hasn't turned it over, they've set a tempo here.
They have kept Merrill quiet, although Merrill with a nice find there to Justin Bean.
Yeah, that was bad defense because the press had been broken and Merrill was sitting there with the ball for a couple of seconds and nobody rotated under the basket.
Merrill averaging over 4 assists per game. That's 6th best in the Mountain West as Manigault has 2 more. He's got 6 early points for the Lobos. They break the pressure. Beans pass deflected. They cough it up again. Mathis does not have numbers. He'll slow it up.
And you know, one of the things we've got to keep in mind here too, Andrew, is that nobody plays this style in the Mountain West. So it's not like Utah State has played against a team that presses all the time like this.
Right, and when they played each other twice during the regular season, New Mexico didn't break it out at those times.
Exactly.
So this is a fresh look.
Tough to prepare because they really just started doing it. It's a good, strong move by Keita.
Revelation Keita has been. He verbally committed in April, but by the time they finalized all the paperwork, Keita didn't arrive in Logan, Utah until about the 2nd day of class. So he was a very late add for the Aggies, and what a sensation he's been, the Mountain West Freshman of the Year. Jackson, pretty moves, couldn't finish. Offensive board, Manigault, and a whistle. And 2 shots coming.
And Keita didn't get the first one. Vance Jackson made a good move, but Keita being there made him short on that layup. You see Jackson here going, makes a great move, and even though Keita didn't get that one, he got it.
Foul was on Merrill, his first. Manigault, 10th in the Mountain West, shooting 74% at the free throw line. He's already got 7 points. He averages 8 per game. His uncle, playground legend, Earl the GOAT Manigault,
who I played against in college. I went to CCNY in Harlem, and Earl Manigault lived in Harlem, and he used to come play with us on Thursdays during free play time. The GOAT, one of the great playground legends ever.
I would like to see you on the playground, lad. Oh, that's Jackson on the foul.
Well, I got to tell you a funny story. I'm a freshman, and that was a heck of a move right there. And I'll tell you the story. And New Mexico in full attack mode. Nice finish. I'm a freshman at CCNY, and we're choosing up games. And this guy, Earl Manigault, I had never seen him before. So he comes up to me, he goes, "Can I get next with you?" And I'm looking at him, and he didn't really, I was like, nah, and I didn't have my team yet. And I said, no. So we go out there, we win our game, and he's got the next game. And they said, "Oh, that's the GOAT." I said, "I didn't give the GOAT a game?"
You passed on the GOAT.
I passed on the GOAT. True story. Never again, I can tell you that.
Well, his nephew's team, the Lobos, up by 2 now, and some momentum on New Mexico's side, the 7 seed. Utah State at his sorts with 9 turnovers already. Merrill is fouled. You don't want to send Merrill to the free throw line. He's the best in the league, 90%.
And you know, you can look at Sam Merrill and you look at his numbers, he's obviously a tremendous shooter, but they're moving without the ball, making a good cut. He shoots almost 7 free throws a game. This kid gets to the foul line a lot. And as you said, one of the best in the nation.
At the other end, it was Merrill who picked up that last foul. So Merrill has 2, and they keep him in there with 8:41 to go.
Very surprising. I didn't realize that foul was on him. I'm shocked they're not taking him out. You cannot have this kid get his 3rd. I would take him out for 3 minutes. I wouldn't take him out for the whole half because he's an experienced kid, but I definitely, especially in a game like this where you can get a charge very easily with this pressure, I think he's taking a big chance.
Yeah, he's staying out there, 8.5 to play. Something to keep an eye on here. Jackson sets his feet, can't make it.
Oh, that's charge. See, there was a good example. Could have easily been number 3. I would get him out of the game.
And Craig Smith just went down his bench.
That's a charge.
I think he heard you. You're right.
He's not taking him out.
Well, Merrill's going to the line.
Okay.
Yeah, 1-1. You want him there. He's 90%.
In this kind of game, Andrew, that's like helter-skelter. It's easy to control your third foul. If the other team's playing half-court defense, they're playing zone. You can control yourself on defense. It's on offense that you worry about a guy picking up his third.
Well, when Quinn Taylor picked up 2 early ones, he went to the bench for a while. He just came back in. But Craig Smith, for the moment, is keeping his star Merrill out there.
I think it's a bad move to have 2 guys in the game with 8:25 to go in the first half that are consciously saying to themselves, I can't foul. What kind of defense are you going to be able to play? That's 40% of your team that's worried about fouling.
And you
can't have that.
And you see what Merrill has done over the last 4 games, averaging nearly 30 per night. Goes 1 out of 2, a rare miss from Merrill.
Well, let's keep an eye on what New Mexico does to attack Merrill and Taylor.
Jackson launches. Hits. 11 points for Vance Jackson.
This kid did not play like this all year.
Merrill cuts, bounce pass Taylor for the flush. Manigault turnaround, tough shot, won't go in. The rebound to Porter.
Yeah, they made him go for a fadeaway half hook.
And a timeout with 7:25 to go. Vance Jackson's had the hot hand in the first half. He's got 11 for the Lobos. But Utah State can beat you in a lot of different ways. Here, it's Taylor with the dunk. Tied at 23 here on CBS Sports Network. Earlier, Evan told us about the shot tracker technology we're using. Coach, let's take a closer look.
Well, this shows the movement against the pressure so well. They do a great job of having the ball in the middle of the floor. And then you see it go to Brito, and then the attack and a straight line pass right to the basket. Here's an example of one that didn't work. Merrill did a good job of coming and meeting the pass there, but now Brito gets caught up. He does a good job going across in half court, but you got to know people are behind you. That really showed the movement and where guys were going and where they were coming from.
And Evan listened into Craig Smith's huddle.
Yeah, guys, look, the adjustment period seems to have happened for Utah State at this point. The message from Craig Smith was keep it sound and simple against this press. Make the easy play. Don't always look for that home run.
That looked pretty easy for Merrill right there. He's got 7 points, still out there with the 2 fouls. And Coach, is that something that Paul Weir should be telling his guys? Go right at Merrill?
Well, they definitely should be doing that, but they're smart because they have him guarding the freshman, Drennan, so he's not an offensive player. So Craig Smith also doing what he needs to do in terms of who Merrill guards.
Oh, yeah.
Manigault off the mark and the rebound to Brito. Brito's pass deflected. Turnover number 10 for a Utah State team that averages 12 per game. And then a foul after the turnover.
And you look at New Mexico, the big difference between their stats this year and last year is they're only forcing a little over 13 turnovers a game this year. Last year, they were forcing over 17 turnovers a game. That speaks to the fact that they did not press this year, except they are now.
Brito picks up his 2nd foul. And they got 3 Aggies with 2 fouls apiece. Taylor, Merrill, and Brito. And it's a 1-1, and Brito's going to come out of the game. So Taylor and Brito with 2 fouls on the bench, but Merrill with 2 fouls staying in there.
Yeah, I'm really surprised.
And Manigault makes the front end of a 1-1.
I mean, he easily could have had his 3rd, as we showed. Matter of fact, I figured he did stick his left arm out.
Tavian Percy, the freshman, comes into the game from New Mexico. as Anthony Mathis will get a breather. Tied at 25.
They haven't backed off on this pressure, not one possession in this game.
Merrill attacking, missed it. And out of bounds. Another Utah State turnover.
I mean, this is a good job by Merrill. He's got to finish that one.
Obviously, we can't tell what he's thinking, but I got the sense watching that replay that he was thinking about the charge.
No doubt. He's got to think about it all the time. Well, on defense, on offense.
What a half. 6 ties, 7 lead changes. Drennan, 3 is good. Just his 10th of the year. Wow. And a foul called on Mathis.
Well, they left him alone, and you can kind of understand why. Merrill's not even near him.
And a 1-and-1 after the foul on Mathis will send Abel Porter to the free throw line.
You know, one thing, Andrew, when you play a lot of guys and guys come in and out, they just feel better. They're a part of the mix. You're not coming into a half-court game. You're coming into a game where we're running and we're moving, and it's a lot easier to do for a lot of these kids.
And New Mexico has used 10 players here in the first half. Porter was the hero in the game at the pit between these two squads. Hit the game-winning 3 with 1.6 seconds left. And he goes 1 out of 2 at the free throw line.
Normally a tremendous free throw shooting team, 75%.
And tops in the Mountain West.
Tough shot.
And whistle inside. That's going to go on Justin Bean.
Yeah, it's an easy one.
And now Keita picks up his second foul.
I can tell you right now, the shot blocker, you definitely have to get out of here.
Pinchuk at the free throw line, just 54%. And he misses the front end. Rebound to Bean. 6 minutes to play in the first half. Lobos fans wanted to travel on Porter. They don't get it.
So did Paul Weir.
Merrill with the 2 fouls. And draws a foul.
Paul Weir thought he pushed off. I was blocked off, but he sure thought it. Then again, I don't think he's biased.
Well, for Paul Weir, coach, I think you got to worry a little bit about your leading scorer, Anthony Mathis. Last 2 games, he combined to go 3 of 21. And tonight he is 0 for 3 and yet to score.
Yeah, you do have to think about it, there's no doubt. But, you know, I think he's obviously more concerned about how the team is doing in this game right now.
But they got to get him going.
Yes, hopefully he gets him going.
They need him. He's averaging 14 points per game. He was 1 of 13 yesterday in the win over Wyoming. Kuiper 3, too strong, and the rebound to Merrill.
He's been off from the three-point line this year a lot.
New Mexico as a team just 2 out of 10 shooting threes tonight. Keita out there with the 2 fouls. Drives, and the shot won't go. Put back by Bean's not there either. And Kuiper corrals it. Drennan has provided the Lobos with some nice minutes off the bench here in the first half. And as I say that, he bounces it out of bounds. Sixth turnover for the Lobos, who really had an incredible comeback yesterday. They were down 16 in the first half against Wyoming. 11-point deficit at the half, and it was their 5th largest comeback in school history, down by 16, coming back to win 78-68.
Well, as we said before, Vance Jackson was so good.
26 for Jackson. Queta draws the double. Queta around Bragg, throws it, almost went in, and on the rebound, a foul on the floor, and they're going to get Bragg, and that's his 3rd.
I know Paul Ware thought maybe I'd get him back in for a couple of minutes. I thought you'd bring him in a little earlier and have him out by now. Could have let that one go.
And now Bragg comes out with the 3 fouls. There's been 19 fouls called here in the first half. And obviously we've gotten our answer about how Craig Smith feels about Sam Merrill. Trusts him, and he's not coming out with those 2 fouls, even in a game where a lot of fouls are being called.
And a very small team in for Utah State right now.
1/3 of the Aggies' points tonight have come from the free throw line.
That's part of the problem. When you press like this aggressively, you're going to foul a lot.
Kuiper again from deep. And they just won't go down from the outside for the Lobos. Mathis to the ground, trying to call timeout, and he does. Heads up play by the senior Anthony Mathis. Timeout with 4:14 to go, and the Aggies up by 2.
Utah State leads New Mexico 30-28, and Vance Jackson really has done a spectacular job in this game. 11 points, taking the ball off the dribble. He's also made a 3. I really like this kid because at 6'8", putting the ball on the floor is really a great weapon to have.
With 4:14 to go in the first half. And we told you that every player wearing a sensor for our shot tracker technology, and you look at what Jackson has done inside, 3 out of 4 on his 2-point field goal attempts.
And those 3 out of 4 were drives. They're not post-ups, because you know when the way you show it there, just to distinguish between how he got there was through drives.
Foul trouble with 19 fouls called already in the first half. There is some trouble. Bragg with 3 for the Lobos, and Merrill leading the charge with 2 for the Aggies. Jackson can't finish inside, and Bean with the tough rebound.
That time Sam Merrill was guarding Pinchuk.
Brito to a cutting Bean. Bean with the left hand. Rolls around and out. Offensive rebound, Taylor. And he brings it back out. Taylor 5th in the league with 2.5 offensive rebounds per game. Already 5 on the offensive glass for the Aggies here in the first.
And even in the half court, New Mexico's done a good job of putting the pressure on and making Utah State a little more aggressive than they want to be.
Merrill step back 3, halfway down and out. Neither team lighting it up from the outside here in the first half. Jackson, nice dish. Oh, and a block! Mr. Bean from behind.
You know what? If Manigault doesn't try to tomahawk this thing, I think he scored. Watch what Manigault does here. He puts it behind him like he wants to do something more emphatic than he needed to. And when he took it back that far, that gave them time to get to him. He should have just laid that thing in the basket quick.
Third block for Utah State. They lead the league, averaging 4 blocks per game. Thankfully, they have Keita on their side, helping in that department. Jackson again! 14 for Vance. Not a foul called on McGee.
32% three-point shooter on the season, and he just sizes his man up and puts it right on Bean.
Both teams in the double bonus. So it's 2 shots for Abel Porter. Coming up on AT&T at the half, Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, John Rothstein, Jerry Palm standing by in our New York studio. We'll get you up to speed on all the conference tournament news and action happening today around college basketball. All coming up on AT&T at the half. St. John's losing in Madison Square Garden by 32 points to Marquette.
They paid for those 2 wins today dearly. They had 2 wins over Marquette. I guess Marquette didn't like it.
Malawach inside, gets it to go.
The one thing you don't see from Utah State is people scoring inside. They're one of the best 2-point defensive teams in the country.
And a steal, Mathis. And before he's able to go in, a foul is called on Porter. First foul on Abel Porter.
Utah State's number 4 in the nation in defending the 2-point shot. And I think in this game, New Mexico's done a great job of getting the ball in the lane and scoring.
Here's Drennan, the freshman, just 55% from the line. As we take a look at our Reese's player profile, and it's Utah State's Amias Keita from Portugal, journalism major. He was named earlier this week not only the freshman of the year, but the defensive player of the year. And you have 75 block shots. That's a good way to get that honor.
He is big and long. I stood next to him in warm-ups, and I had to be next to a big kid along, like right, because I don't coach anymore, obviously. He is really big and long.
So you passed on the GOAT, but you wouldn't pass on him, right?
I would not pass, no.
Not with moves like that.
He looks the part more than the GOAT did at 6'1".
4 points for the freshman Keita. With 2 minutes to play in the first half. Great defensive play by Brito. Can he hold on to it? No. Drennan goes to the ground. And now the ball out of bounds to Utah State. Twenty turnovers in this first half.
New Mexico, doesn't care about ugliness in this game. That's to their benefit. Utah State doesn't like the ugliness of the game. I'm sitting here wondering, I got to be honest with you, and you're probably thinking the same thing. Why did they press all year? This is who they are.
Yeah.
This is what he established last year, Paul. And I'm not saying they're going to win the game, but it's going the way they want it.
Brito, another turnover, number 14.
Decisions. Makes you make a lot of mistakes.
Jackson in the zone in the first half, but he lost it. Gets it back. Over to Pinchuk for 2.
I'm shocked at the dribble penetration that New Mexico's getting in this game against a team that does a great job of defending the paint.
This is unbelievable. Their season high for turnovers in a game is 20. They have 15 in the first half.
And think about what New Mexico is thinking here now. Their bench, the players, the coaches. We got these guys where we want them. Forget the score. They're not playing the way Utah State wants to play the game.
And they got the crowd, too. Don't underestimate that part of it. This crowd is loud for the Lobos. Final minute of the first. Jackson right at Brito. Wild scoop shot won't go. And now a whistle and a foul on Utah State.
It was a wild shot, no doubt, but Keita had to come over and help, and that's what allowed Manigault to get that rebound.
And there it is. That's the third foul on Merrill.
That is a huge call. Now, I can say this to you, Andrew. I understand he picked up that second foul with like 8 minutes to go. How about get him out with 3 minutes to go? 54 seconds, he should not be in the game. I'm sorry.
Something we were talking about.
And neither should Keita, by the way.
Now he's coming out.
And Keita almost picked up his third, too.
Absolutely. So Sam Merrill to the bench with 9 points. 5 of the 9 from the free throw line, and now 3 fouls on the Mountain West Player of the Year.
I know Craig Smith is a tremendous coach, but he's kind of coaching like this game's going to be won or lost in the first half, and it's not. Travel.
Oh, no, they call a foul on Mathis.
Yeah, he invaded the offensive player space. That's a new rule this year in the verticality. You have to allow an offensive player the opportunity to pivot. So let's see what happens here. So Porter's pivoting. Oh yes, absolutely a good call. Mathis was taking away what is Porter's legal space. That is a good call.
There's about 8,000 that disagree with you, but I agree with you.
They don't know the rule.
Yep,
that is a clear rule.
One more from Porter.
You have to be allowed to dribble, pass, or pivot.
And a one-point game. 15-second difference between the game clock and the shot clock. Drennan working his way inside for 2. What a spark he's been.
You get all these guys giving you a lift because they get an opportunity to play.
Final 10 seconds. Brown, no, gets it back. Carried one. Big play for Dwayne Brown.
Yeah, he does a good job here of staying with this. Should have finished the first one. Their only senior gives him a big lift off the bench.
Paul Weir's got to be careful. He was halfway out on the court yelling at the official.
I can tell you right now, Tom O'Neill is standing next to him. Don't mess with him. I did once, and I paid for it.
Personal experience.
Don't mess with Tom O'Neill.
5 seconds left. Drennan will take the jumper, and it won't go, and that will do it. What a half. Saw a little bit of everything in that first half, and we're tied at 39. Vance Jackson leading the Lobos with 14. No one in double figures for Utah State. Merrill, their leading scorer, with 9, but he has 3 fouls. And Evan is with Craig Smith.
Thank you, Coach. You knew the frenetic press was coming. I'm not sure you probably thought you were going to have 15 turnovers in that first half. What has to change in that department?
Well, they're clearly speeding us up. It's like a playground game, we were ready for that. The first time we played them, they did that. We just got to slow down. Our minds are going a million miles an hour. We're trying to do the right thing, but we got to play off of 2, jump stop, make good decisions, and then finish play. Clearly, they've sped us up. But we hung around. It's a minor miracle. It's tied right now.
Curiosity more than anything. Sam Merrill, the decision to stick with him when he had 2, and then he picks up that third one late. Take us into that decision if you could.
I mean, he's a veteran. We do that all the time. He's savvy. He knows what he's doing. So, but, I mean, Diogo Brito had 2. Dominguez Keita had 2. Quinn Taylor had 2. Sam Merrill had 2. Like, at some point, you just got to ride it out with guys with 2.
Coach, appreciate it.
All right, thanks.
Good stuff, Evan. That's the end of the first half. After the break, our guys in New York with 18-10 at the half. You are watching college basketball on CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. Tight one in Vegas at the half. New Mexico and Utah State even at 39. Hi, everyone. Welcome back courtside with Steve Lapis. I'm Andrew Catalon. We'll hear from Evan Washburn coming up. You heard Craig Smith tell Evan at the end of the first half it's a, quote, minor miracle that we're tied right now. 15 turnovers in the first half for the Aggies.
Well, one of the things, New Mexico had 9 steals and only got 13 points off those turnovers. So that's a big reason why Utah State is still hanging into this thing. But New Mexico really dominated in terms of the style of the game. The game went the way they wanted it to go. They had a ton of deflections, obviously 15 turnovers, 9 steals. Didn't take advantage of it by scoring enough. And how about the game this kid's playing, Vance Jackson? 26, 8, and 5 last night. Now he's got 14 points at the half. He's made threes, drives to the basket, just playing a great game.
21 points off the bench for New Mexico. They used 10 different players in that first half, led by Manigault. He had 11 as we check in with Evan.
Well, Andrew, Paul Weir was obviously thrilled with the defensive effort, but the way to extend the lead in his mind is getting something out of Carlton Bragg and Anthony Massins. He said that Bragg's foul trouble was huge in that first half. They like to get the ball inside to him and then kick it out. That's how Mathis gets going. That's what they'll look to do here early in the second half.
Yeah, Evan, now over the last 2.5 games, Mathis is 3 for 24 shooting and still has not scored tonight.
And you know, Andrew, you can look at it good and bad that they're in a tie game against a really good team and he hasn't scored yet. So hopefully they get something out of him and Bragg in the second half and they'll make the difference.
And it only took 5 seconds for our first foul of the second half. That's on Jackson, his first.
I mean, they are as aggressive as I've seen them.
Keita inside, lays it in.
Good job there of attacking the pressure under control. I'm sure that's what Craig Smith talked about at halftime. You know, you can't slow the game down. You have to attack pressure or the pressure's going to get you. It's just a matter of what decisions you make when you get in the front court.
Here's Malawach. Nowhere to go. Out to Jackson for 3. A good again. Vance Jackson has 17.
And this full court pressure is really, whenever they score, they're in it. Even on dead balls, they've been in it. They've even been in it in a couple of rebounds.
Porter to Merrill with 3 fouls. Bounces it to Keita, who's fouled. And quickly, Vance Jackson picks up 2 fouls in the first minute of the second half.
Well, Vance Jackson did not do a good job of getting to the middle. He should have been able to get there before Sam Merrill caught that pass and then went to the basket.
Keita just 53% at the free throw line this year, and he rattles in the first to tie the game at 42. Utah State on a 7-game win streak. Right now, our bracketologist Jerry Palm has the Aggies as a 9 seed. This would be a tough one, though, for Utah State. They're unable to win this one. I'm not saying they would sweat it out on Selection Sunday, but they could then fall into that play-in first 4 type game with a loss tonight.
It's potential because obviously New Mexico doesn't have a great net standing.
Jackson out to Malawach. He drives in. Nowhere to dump it off to, and a turnover by the Lobos.
Yeah, he got hung up in the air and had nowhere to go.
Miller for 3. Rushed the shot, and Malawach takes it off the glass.
They have really found Anthony Mathis in transition every time.
There's Bragg. Evan told you that Paul Weir wants to get him going, and that's a good sign right there. Porter lost a handle on it, right to Jackson. He wants to push it. And does not have numbers, so he'll bring it back out to Mathis. He sends it inside to Bragg. Could it be back-to-back for Bragg? It can. Feed in the big man.
But deep position by Bragg in transition. He's planting himself down low where he's going to score.
Keita, high pass, back-to-back turnovers for the Aggies. 17 in the game for Utah State. Season high is 20. They did it twice against Nevada and Arizona State. Kuiper. Merrill goes to the ground. Kuiper's jumper won't go.
Well, he hasn't been able to buy anything.
Kuiper's 1 for 4. How about Mathis getting a hand on it?
You know, all those deflections.
That's 10 seconds.
All those deflections force you to be out of sorts. Even when you don't lose the ball, it takes you out of sorts.
Officials want to see if the ball got across. So they're gonna check this out.
But no, they can't go to the monitor.
Can't go to the monitor for that.
Can't go to the monitor for that.
So 18 turnovers now after the 10-second violation. Mathis's 3 rolls around and out, and he's still scoreless.
No one in the middle of the floor for Utah State. You got to have somebody in the middle against the pressure. That's charge.
No call, and Taylor for 2.
He might have been inside the restricted area.
So a 2-point game. Trinan playing well off the bench in the first half.
They're running Mathis off baseline screens, trying to get him something.
Jackson blocked by Keita. And Utah State's Taylor saves it from going out of bounds. Good play by Taylor. Miller on the attack. And another turnover by Utah State. It's a broken record. Jackson 3. Yes! His 4th 3.
They need a timeout, Utah State. They need one.
Jackson has tied a career high with 4 threes and still 15 minutes to go. Miller trying to answer. Can Mathis get going? He can! And now Craig Smith calls timeout. New Mexico has opened up its largest lead of the night, a 10-2 run for the Lobos, Coach.
And they've been doing it a lot of different ways. Obviously, it's been starting with their defense, but Vance Jackson on fire, and Anthony Mathis with the deep 3 there. But it's all starting with the tempo of the game and what they have Utah State doing. You take a look at the shot tracker here. 24 points in the paint, 8-second chance. Now let's understand this. Utah State's one of the top defensive rebounding teams in the entire country. So for New Mexico, who's not a good rebounding team, to get 8-second chance points, that's big.
New Mexico, the number 7 seed, trying to pull the upset.
And here's the other thing for Utah State. They haven't been able to run a play the entire game. This kid was been pretty good, but...
And they're saying it's Utah State basketball.
Wow, from my angle here, it looked like it was off Cater.
Wow, Paul Weir is on the court. He's got to get a tee.
He's getting it.
He is. That's just foolish.
That
you can't be on the other side of the court.
That is absolutely no sense.
And that's a no-brainer technical foul call.
Why would you do that?
So technical on Paul Weir. You're watching Bracket Week presented by Kubota. Wow. And we're back with a look at the Mountain West Tournament bracket coming up tonight on CBS Sports Network. Fresno State and Air Force in the final quarterfinal of the day. Let's go back to the out-of-bounds call. And you can see there, it's clearly off Cada. It was ruled Utah State basketball, and that sent Paul Weir off and off into the front court. Now he's nearly by the three-point line. At that point, you have to give him a technical foul.
Yeah.
Which is we were talking about during the break. Why? You've got all this momentum right now. Your team is rolling. Just a real bad time for a technical.
Yeah, it was a bad call. You made a bad situation worse by getting teed. You just got to, you know, hey, I know it's easy for me to say sitting here. You just got to suck it up and go. You can't do anything about it. Don't get a technical foul. You put a guy in the foul line is 91% from the free throw line. You might as well give them 2 points. And they get the ball.
Merrill makes them both. And after the call, which we showed you, was incorrect. It is still Utah State basketball. Merrill corner three. Rebound is there for Brito. So a 4-point possession for Utah State.
That's a big swing.
Jackson fakes it and connects.
Well, we're going to GPS Anthony Mathis for a while, especially in transition, to see if he can get an open three running the floor.
And the ball out of bounds. It's New Mexico basketball.
Because I think I agree with you, Andrew. They got to get Anthony Mathis going. He's made 1-3 in this half. Let's see how he tries to hunt some of these shots in transition. Obviously not in transition right now.
So 20 turnovers for Utah State. That ties a season high, and it's the most that New Mexico has forced in a game this year.
See, he's not really moving around a lot right now, Mathis, as you can see.
Bragg off the side of the backboard. Cada had it, lost it, and a foul is called. If that's on Bragg, that would be number 4. Let's see who they get here.
That's him. It's a bad foul.
They do get Bragg.
I mean, that's an easy one. I mean, why would you pick up your 4th foul doing that? I want somebody to tell me. Don't you want to play?
Bragg to the bench with 14:02 to go. And remember, Evans said that Paul Weir told him he wanted to get him going in the second half. They had done that back-to-back possessions with buckets, but now 4 fouls. Brito and finishing shot.
Boy, Brito has been not good in this game.
Only 2 points for Brito. He averages 9 in Mountain West Conference games. Malowach, tough shot off the front of the rim. Well, just like New Mexico is trying to get Mathis going, Utah State needs to get Merrill going.
See, in this kind of a game, Andrew, you don't know where you're getting the shots from.
Here's Merrill.
Helter-skelter.
Brito, wild lob to Bean. Back out Brito 3. Yes! And a one-possession game.
They they've got to get more movement going, and now they don't really well. Manigault had a good first half. Now they double it. Good pass.
Mathis fakes the three. Now he'll take it and hit it.
It was a great pass out of the post by Manigault, and the shot fake by Mathis set that up.
Porter, nice dish to Merrill. Oh, what a feed from Abel Porter. 12 assists on 16 made field goals for Utah State. And a block by Keita. That is big right palm on that one. And now numbers for the Aggies if they hurry. Keita beating everyone down and throwing it down.
New Mexico's got to maintain control of this game when they have to play half court.
Mathis off balance shot, no good. Merrill saves it to Porter.
What a great play by Sam Merrill coming out of nowhere to get that rebound.
And again, Brito down the floor, reverse layup is good. Steve, it took 3 minutes. Paul Weir got a technical foul 3 minutes ago when his team was up 8, and now we're tied. Make sure to tune into the 2019 Reese's College All-Star Game. Is presented by Walmart. April 5th, live at 4:30 Eastern right here on CBS Sports Network. Coach Lapis will be on the call for that one. How about Keita and the Aggies on the comeback trail, Coach?
Well, I mean, it's what you would expect from him. First of all, he's a tremendous defensive player of the year. He gets out in transition. He does run the floor well. Scoring where you would expect him to score, right in that little circle there in the lane.
Actually, that sensor in his jersey prevents him from going outside the arc. He is forced to stay inside.
What does he get zapped if he goes outside?
Right.
It's like an electric fence you have for a dog or something. You know what I mean? What does he get zapped when he goes outside the lane?
One of the new features that the sensor has for shot tracker.
I had some guys at coach that I'd like to have been in the lane all the time. That would have been a good thing to you.
It also would have been good for you staying on the bench. You would have got on the court.
They need an invisible fence for me.
Yes, yes. Well, Weir got the technical with 14:49 to go. His team was up by 8. 3 minutes and 8 seconds later, his team was tied, but it's McGee putting him back in front with the 3.
Yeah, that was a big basket there. You know, you hate to see a coach do something that affects the game that badly. Right now, it sure looks that way.
Merrill, nice handoff and foul on Manigault will send Keita to the line. Second foul on Corey Manigault, and team foul number 5 on New Mexico. Utah State yet to be called for a foul in the second half.
Well, this kid normally not a good free throw shooter.
Let's check in with Evan.
Well, guys, to your point about that 3-minute stretch, starting with the technical foul, not something you see very often in a huddle, but Paul Weir tapped his chest and took ownership for it. He said, this is bad coaching. That stretch was on him. But he also pleaded with his guys, you have to run, especially get back on defense in transition. That's where Utah State is finding success when they beat that immediate press.
And that's what you have to do against pressure. You have to attack it aggressively like that. That's good and bad.
Porter got a hand on it. Up ahead, Brito beating everyone down for 2. And we're tied again at 60.
You know, New Mexico's a much better team playing in transition. When they get stuck in a half court, they have not been real good in the second half.
13th tie of the night as we approach the midway point of the second half. McGee again, not this time. And Keita with a good box out for the rebound.
Not a great shot there.
Merrill dribbling through traffic. And the follow by Keita, a whistle and a foul. Keita is going to go back to the free throw line. They'll be the first to know as CBS breaks the news and reveals these 68 teams. Have your brackets ready as the madness officially gets underway with the NCAA selection show Sunday, 6 Eastern on CBS. We'll all be tuned in. And Utah State looking to see their name up on the brackets for the first time since 2011 when Stu Morrill was the head coach and they were in the WAC. We're not in the Mountain West at that point. One out of two for Keita, but Utah State has regained the lead. They are up by one in the Mountain West quarterfinals. Jackson dropped it off to Bragg, who's back in there with the 4 fouls, and Kuiper from the outside.
Yeah, it's taking a chance, bringing Bragg back in and into a tie game.
Steal by Jackson. Jackson right at Merrill. Kuiper misses the follow jam and a whistle. But you're right, Jackson should have passed it to Kuiper. He should have
passed that. Are you kidding me? Take a look at this. Vance Jackson. I mean, they do a great job here. And now, right, stop. I mean, the defense came to you. You drew the defense, which is what you're supposed to do. Now bounce pass it to Kuiper. You got a layup.
Can you do that sound effect again?
That was the first time I think I ever did that.
I've never heard that before. Yeah.
It sounded more like a Halloween shriek or something,
yes,
right?
Yes. I think you found it.
That's how 2-on-1s bother me.
We can tell. Kuiper at the free throw line. 65-61.
Interesting, they stepped the man out of bounds to throw it in. That was not a bad move. They haven't done that.
Merrill step back three. Here he comes. 16 for Merrill.
Yeah, going to Bragg a little bit. He was pretty good early on in the half.
And they call a foul on the floor on Quinn Taylor, who's been hampered by foul trouble all night for Utah State. That's his third.
The step back three really created a lot of space with that step back.
First three of the night for Sam Merrill. Jackson, and another foul. And they're pointing at Keita. And that'll be number 3 on Keita.
Well, one thing Vance Jackson has done this entire game is put pressure on the defense by going off the dribble. They haven't been able to stay in front of him. That looks like a foul to me.
And it's 2 shots for Vance Jackson. Drew Drennan comes out for New Mexico, and Keith McGee is back in the game.
I'll tell you, when you play New Mexico, one of the things that they accomplished with this pressure is you can't run any offense. It's just you got to attack the pressure, and that's it. You're not running any plays, you're not running anything. You just got to attack.
And it seems like that's been a big reason why Merrill, for the most part, has not had a lot of open looks. No doubt. Another steal. McGee right at Porter. And a foul is called. And that's going to go on Porter, who's down on the ground underneath the basket. He's in some pain.
Looks like he took one and lost his wind. Another steal. And that's the other thing against New Mexico. You better fake your passes because these guys are going for steals so hard. Fake one way and go the other way.
12 steals for New Mexico. And there you see Porter. He's up on his feet trying to shake it off.
And it's like a lost art, Andy. When you play against a team this aggressive, if you just fake one way, they're going to all go that way because they want to make steals and then throw the other way. You're not seeing any fake passes.
Jackson juggled it, but now has it. Up top to McGee. As we approach 9 minutes to go. Winner advances to tomorrow. Semifinals on CBS Sports Network. McGee stop and start. Here's Bragg. Out to Kuiper for three. Too strong, but McGee with the rebound. Well, they closed out on Mathis quickly that time.
They're switching all these screens.
Jackson calling for it. He's got Merrill on him. Jackson, a whistle. And they're saying that's on the floor. So Utah State, a few minutes ago, had no fouls in this half. Now they have 5.
And, you know, it's been a recurring theme in this game. No one has been able to stay in front of Vance Jackson.
Steve, that was the 4th foul on Sam Merrill, and he's coming out of the game with 8:36 to go.
He's got to go for at least 4 minutes unless this game gets crazy. If New Mexico goes up 6, he'll be back in quick. If not, it stays close like this, he'll be back in under 4. Great opportunity here for New Mexico.
McGee high out the window.
They haven't faked the pass. I'd like to see one fake pass.
Oh, and a foul is called. Nearly another steal. Instead, Jackson picks up the foul, and it's a 1-and-1. That was the 7th team foul on the Lobos. 3rd foul on Jackson.
And you know, with Sam Merrill right now, let's think of that 3rd foul he picked with 54 seconds to go in the first half.
And Evan asked Craig Smith about it, and he said, listen, he's a veteran, he's a savvy guy, we trust him, but that foul, less than a minute to go in the first half, proves very big right now.
And it was a foul that he could have controlled. He went after a loose ball. He could have easily, it wasn't like it was a charge. He could have easily backed off on that.
Brito makes the front end of the 1-and-1. As we take a look at the foul trouble for both teams, Bragg has 4 for the Lobos, and Merrill with 4 for Utah State. Brito makes a pair.
I tell you, he's had some second half, this kid. He had no points and 5 turnovers in the first half.
He's got 11 points now in double figures for for the 12th time this year,
and no turnovers. Just clear it out for this guy. That's a tough shot.
It's an air ball. I mean, what are you thinking? 7:48 to go, second half. We got a good one here in Vegas. New Mexico up by 2 as you continue to watch Bracket Week presented by Kubota. Beautiful night in Las Vegas. So we got a good one here inside the Thomas & Mack Center. New Mexico leads Utah State by 2. And for the Aggies, it's been Diogo Brito picking up the pace in the second half.
Well, he's been terrific in the second half. He had 0 points and 5 turnovers in the first half. He's now got 11 points and still has those 5 turnovers for the game. He's been scoring in transition, making threes, kind of picking up the slack. Sam Merrill's been okay, but this kid has really picked up the slack and helped this team, especially with Quinn Taylor not having a good game. He's normally their 3rd leading scorer.
I want to thank all the men and women on our crew for working a long day. Game 3 of 4 on CBS Sports Network. Our producer, Steve McKee, director, Jim Cornell, Steve Lapis, Evan Washburn, I'm Andrew Catalan. We thank you for joining us as you're watching the Mountain West Tournament quarterfinals on CBS Sports Network. 7:48 to go, and the 7th seed New Mexico has a 2-point lead on number 2 Utah State.
And Craig Smith is definitely going to try and buy as much time as he can, keeping Merrill out.
Miller in the corner. Dangerous shooter, can't get it to go, but the offensive board by Taylor brings it back out.
Keita's a good, oh, they could have called that.
Wow, and there's the travel. And now they're going to huddle up. Oh, and they call it on Bragg, and he is fouled out of the game.
Wow, what a huge call.
Unbelievable call.
They had the travel. I'm surprised. And, you know, Eric Curry's going over to Paul Ware because he knows this didn't look right.
Oh, and Keita even had an arm into Bragg.
I mean, to foul him out on that. I mean, watch this. I mean, that's...
He used his left elbow to knock Bragg down.
And you know what? If you want to make that a no call, make it a no call. Maybe he flopped a little bit, but it was a travel for sure.
That's a tough one to swallow for Carlton Bragg and the Lobos.
What a way to go out of the game.
And that, his last touch, last touch by Jackson. It's Utah State basketball.
Man, that was a tough one. And you know, when you see a referee run all the way over to the coach right away when the coach is mad, he knows that it looked kind of crazy. Because they should have called it right away, and they didn't.
Well, one official did call a travel.
And now they're going into Keita. And no double.
Good defense there by Manigault.
That move there kind of showed he's still a little bit raw. He's still a good player, and he has a tremendous upside, Keita. Not there yet.
How much more time you want to buy with Merrill on the bench, Coach?
I would, you know, you're only down 2. I would go to 4 minutes if I can.
Okay. Brito on the break to Keita, and a foul from behind on Manigault. Keita was just swinging on the rim for a good few seconds after the call.
Yeah, I mean, initially to hang on the rim is okay to protect yourself, which I think was necessary. But all the other histrionics that you're going to see here, that and that. Watch this.
1, 2, 3.
That's all
4.
unnecessary. That is a technical. That could have easily been a technical foul. No question about it.
Paul Weir immediately made the hand signal for a T. No call.
The original hang was fine because you're allowed to protect yourself and hang on the rim. But after a while, it didn't need protection anymore. Yeah, I agree.
And the officials were letting them go after the 1 free throw, but it was a 2-shot foul, so they have to bring everyone back.
You know, this has been a hard game to referee because of all the pressure, the transition, everything else. But it's getting away a little bit right now. They need to rein this thing back in, the officiating crew.
And now the officials are at the monitor, and Paul Weir is going to use this time to talk to his team.
Yeah, I'd call him off the line. Yeah, my guess is that Craig Smith's going to try and go to the 4-minute mark unless they go down 6. They go down 6, he'll be back in.
Right now they're down by 1 with 6:45 to go. Merrill continues to sit with 4 fouls. And out of bounds it goes to New Mexico. This will inbound. Going to get it into. And McGee comes to get it. Here's Jackson, guarded by Brock Miller. Jackson in the paint. Hands off Manigault, up and in, and a foul! And a flex for Manigault.
I think Vance Jackson has gotten in the lane literally every time he wants in this game. I mean, there he is again. I mean, so Keita's got to come over to help. Manigault's alone by himself. They got it. I can't believe they can't stop a 6'8" guy off the dribble. Don't get me wrong, he's a good player. But come on. Stay in front of him once.
And coach, that last bucket in the foul prompted Craig Smith to put Merrill back in the game. 6:27 to go, down by 4.
Okay, I mean, I understand it. I might have gone one more possession, but...
And Bean coughs it up. Turnover number 23.
23 turnovers. You have to understand this too, Andrew. One of the best, that you know already, one of the best passing teams in the country.
Yeah, 17 assists per game is top 10 in the country.
Another layup.
Oh, that one rattles out. McGee trying to pick Merrill's pocket.
Bad foul.
Not a good one. Because that will send Merrill, who's a 90% free throw shooter, to the line for 2 shots. They're in the double bonus.
Yeah, I mean, this here is 94 feet away, and I understand they're playing very aggressively tonight, which is why there's 23 turnovers for the Aggies, but...
Merrill 7 out of 8 from the line tonight, and he got another. Coming up next, we turn things over to our studio at CBS Sports Network. Gives you the inside scoop of everything happening on and off the hardwood. It's Inside College Basketball Bracket Week, presented by Kubota on the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. And then we'll be back with you a little late night in the Mountain West coming up between Air Force and Fresno State. But still 6 minutes to go in this one. 25 points at the free throw line tonight for the Aggies. Jackson faking everybody.
He's got Kate on him.
Jackson will take it. And the rebound to Bean. Now Bean is at a career night. That's his 13th rebound. And a goal on Keita. Keita. And he draws another foul.
Nice spin move by Keita.
And that's number 4 on Manigault.
Overplayed him, thinking he was going to go right, and he spun to the baseline.
Manigault has to be careful. You've already got Bragg out with 5 fouls. Manigault, who came in for him, picks up 4. There's not a whole lot of other depth for New Mexico that can come in and guard Keita down the stretch if Manigault is to foul
It's
out.
going to be a big problem. You know, they'll have to go to Pinchuk at that point, which is what they're doing right now.
Yeah, they're taking Manigault out with 5:27 to go just to buy a little time, make sure he doesn't pick up that 5th. Shot tracker on Keita, who's got 5 rebounds and 5 blocks tonight. His career high is 6 against Fresno State. Tied at 71. Jackson, that's a double dribble. Turnover number 9 by the Lobos. I think Jackson's a little tired. He hasn't really come out much tonight, and you see he's breathing heavy at midcourt.
Yeah, he does look a little gassed. They could use getting him out maybe until the under 4-minute timeout.
We've talked so much about all the New Mexico substitutions. It seems like everyone has come in and out except for Jackson and Mathis. Porter, tough pass. Bean couldn't handle it. Brito picks it up. Scooped away, and Pinchuk grabs it.
That was a good defensive possession from New Mexico. Now Utah State needs one. They got to stop them off the bounce. Especially this guy.
Jackson, nice moves. Kenny hit it. Whoa, sweep for Vance. He's got 25.
How this guy's not one of the best players in this league, I don't understand.
Oh, not him. Wide open, and no, it's not him. Utah State up by 1. 21 for Sam Merrill. 14 ties. 15 lead changes. Mathis, another lead change. Lobos up by 2.
And no double on Keita.
Spinning and scoring is Keita.
That's a big-time move.
16 for Keita.
Got pretty good footwork, this kid.
Tied again with 3.5 to go. Mathis runner, and he gets the roll. Mathis heating up. Been very quiet most of the night. He's got 11. Porter quickly the other way. Big one!
We got ourselves a great one going here. Porter, against the pressure, does what he's supposed to do. Take it all the way to the hole. And we got a tie game.
College basketball on CBS Sports Network is sponsored by Best Western Hotels and Resorts. Stay 2 separate times at today's Best Western and get a free night. Book now at bestwestern.com.
We got a good one in Vegas. Mountain West Tournament quarterfinals. The 7 seed New Mexico and the number 2 seed Utah State tied at 78. And Coach Sam Merrill found himself wide open for 3.
Well, the easiest switch to make is when 2 perimeter players cross. So look what happens here. 2 guys go out on Abel Porter, and look who they leave alone in the dead corner. Sam Merrill. You can't do that. There was no reason to miscommunicate a perimeter to perimeter cross. Just switch it.
Let's check in with Evan Washburn.
Guys, Abel Porter's at the line right now. He's played more minutes than anybody on this Utah State roster. He's starting to have full body cramps. He had the athletic trainers massaging both legs, his shoulders, trying to get some fluids in here. And as their primary ball handler, could be a concern in the final 3 minutes.
All right, Evan, we'll keep an eye on for that as Porter completes the 3-point play and puts the Aggies up by 1. Manigault back on the floor for the Lobos with 4 fouls.
Just give it to Jackson and clear it for him.
Jackson has it, guarded by Brito. Calling for a screen. Mathis sets it. Jackson slips, but gets it over to Mathis. 5 on the shot clock. Mathis 3, no. And Keita is there for the board.
Big possession here, offense and defense.
Trying to trap Merrill, and he calls timeout with 2:37 to go. And Utah State still in front by 1. Nevada and San Diego State advancing earlier today to the semifinals. Winner of this one will grab a spot tomorrow. How about Utah State coach? Jerry Palm has him in as a number 9 seed, beat St. Mary's, beat Nevada. If they lose this game, though, that 9 seed could slip them towards the first 4.
I don't think quite there, Andrew. That wouldn't be that big a job, but to an 11, they definitely could go there.
Sure. See if they can hold on up by 1, 2.5 to play.
Wide open.
Brito 3. Yes!
Big shot, great ball movement that time. That's the Utah State that we've seen all year. Moving the ball under control and knocking out a 3.
Up by 4. Where do the Lobos turn? Manigault is fouled. But how did Brito get so open, coach?
They do a great job of reversing the ball from one side to the other. They just lose Brito. I mean, they don't even know where he is. And this kid has been Utah State's best player in the second half, really.
Brito has 14 points. Meanwhile, the foul on Utah State was against Keita, so he picks up number 4. If you're just joining us, New Mexico was up by 8 points with 14 minutes and 49 seconds to go. Paul Weir picked up a technical foul That gave Utah State some momentum. They came back to tie the game, and back and forth we've gone since then.
Took the words right out of my mouth, Andrew. I was just going to say that about that technical foul.
2:11 to play as we reset the foul trouble. Bragg has fouled out. Manigault has 4. Merrill, Taylor, Keita with 4 for the Aggies. Brito will hold it. Utah State will use a little clock here.
See, I don't know about doubling as much in the half court right now, but look at this.
And they had it. They lost it. Brito gets it back to Keita. Keita hands off Bean, and he is fouled.
Oh, they may look at that one. They could look at that.
The Lobos were so close to a steal in midcourt. Instead, it leads to a foul on New Mexico.
And they recovered really well here because Keita had a dunk.
Right there, Malawach tipped it.
Great recovery there by Pinchuk and Mathis.
Now the officials have gone to the monitor to see if there was a potential flagrant foul on that last one against Mathis.
Call of the game right here. Is that excessive? That is the question. And unnecessary. It might be. That is close. No. He had his hand. I mean, I don't think so. Absolutely not. No. And you know, you have to think about the situation a little bit too, especially when you're on the fence. That one's on the fence. No need to call it here.
Clock is stopped with 1:54 to go. And this is a big call.
Huge. It should not be a flagrant one.
The crew tonight: Eric Curry, Bob Staffen, Tom O'Neill.
Oh boy. 2 shots.
Just 2 shots. Common foul. So it'll be Justin Bean at the free throw line. Bean a career-high 13 rebounds tonight to go along with 7 points. He's 3 out of 4 at the line. Redshirt freshman out of Moore, Oklahoma. Utah State trying to pick up its 26th victory of the season. Season co-champs in the Mountain West with Nevada. For the Mountain West Coach of the Year, Craig Smith. Back to a 2-possession game.
I'd give Vance Jackson that ball and let him go. Oh, he's posted up Brito.
They get it to him. With Brito defending Jackson.
Surprised he passed that out. Doesn't help that Manigault's in the lane with the best shot blocker in the league.
Malawach short on the shot, and the 14th rebound for Bean.
Don't have to foul. Matter of fact, don't foul. Play good defense.
And now Porter. Handing off to Merrill to set up the Utah State offense with the shot clock at 8.
Got to take it to the basket.
Merrill bounce pass to Bean, rolls around, no. Keita fighting for it, and it goes out. And it's Utah State basketball.
It shouldn't be reset the shot clock. Got to be like at least 5 seconds had that going.
I thought about that too. The shot clock says 30. 1:01 on the game clock, so the officials are back at the monitor.
Yeah, I would say 5 seconds went off. Still don't have to foul.
A 4th official to the right of your screen. On standby, Randy McCall.
That hit the rim, obviously. Reset that.
Resets there, and
now all that.
Maybe 3 seconds.
Yeah.
New Mexico has 2 timeouts remaining. Utah State with 1.
Why are they leaving? They're saying,
wow. They have not reset the shot clock.
they're saying there was no possession. That must be what they're saying.
So some bonus time for the Aggies to use on this possession.
No foul. Play solid defense.
Merrill hands it off, and Bean connects.
You got to push it up now.
What a night for Justin Bean.
Score and call timeout.
Mathis to the hoop. Wild shot, no. And out of bounds to the Lobos. And Paul Weir might, I know you want to be careful with these timeouts, but New Mexico needs to settle down a little bit here, Steve.
Yeah, they do. Here's where not having a true point guard really hurts you in these kind of situations.
It'll be Kuiper to inbound. Jackson poked away. What a play by Brito!
Got a foul. Got a foul now.
And Kuiper fouls Merrill, who's the last person you want to foul. But Brito making a great defensive play.
If they really had their wits about them, you would double Merrill in that situation. Once he gives it up, foul, but you almost can't afford to let any more time go.
That's his March face. Brito is ready for it. What a second half he has had. And now you got Merrill, who's the best free throw shooter in the league, back at the line to make it a 3-possession game.
Well, you got to give Utah State a lot of credit to turn the ball over as many times as they turned it over in this game and to hang in there. And how about this? They got 88 points with all those turnovers.
With 23 turnovers for Utah State. Mathis, he is fouled. Abel Porter is called for the foul. That's 3 shots.
Andrew, I'm telling you, he didn't touch him. Mathis sold this unbelievable. Take a watch this. Maybe I'm wrong, but we'll see.
Porter did not argue.
Oh, he hit him on the elbow.
Yeah.
He did.
Porter's reaction, kind of knew he was guilty.
Yeah, good call.
So now big free throws from Mathis, who's the second best free throw shooter in the conference, behind Sam Merrill, 88%.
Now you got to set up your pressure. Double team Merrill so he doesn't get the ball, face guard him, and whoever else gets it, even though they got a ton of good free throw shooters, foul. But you got to keep it out of Merrill's hands. Let's see if they face guard Merrill. This ball goes in.
Mathis hits all 3. And a timeout called by New Mexico with 30 seconds to go. It's a 5-point Utah State advantage. Back in Las Vegas, a look at our game reset. The possession arrow favors New Mexico, each team with 1 timeout left. It'll be Utah State to inbound, and they have a 5-point lead. And you see with our shot tracker, great look here, the free throw percentages of the players on the floor for the Aggies. You don't want to foul the guy in the middle, number 5, Sam Merrill.
You know, Brock Miller hasn't shot nearly as many, so he'd be a better option. He's not a great option either.
They can't get it to Merrill.
Foul.
They have Bean, and there's the foul. So Bean, 76%. Bean with his first career double-double tonight, 11 points and 14 rebounds. And he's 5 out of 6 at the free throw line tonight.
That was way short.
Free throws in March are a little different than free throws in January or December. These are pressure free throws here on the big stage. Bean 1 out of 2.
Push it up quick.
Jackson gets it into McGee.
And you
Races
got
up ahead. Out to MWT for three. Too strong. Kuiper, weak side rebound. He's going to launch a three. That's way off. Tipped around to Porter. Porter got a foul. Brito kicked it out of bounds. Turnover number 24.
Well, obviously they need a three here for sure, but it's got to be quick.
And Paul Weir has called his final timeout with 12.3 on the clock. New Mexico down 6. Las Vegas, always entertaining, and that's certainly the case here tonight at the Thomas and Mack Center. We've had a good game, and right now Utah State, number 2 seed, a 25-6 record, trying to hang on against a New Mexico team that has put up a great fight tonight. So down by 6, got to shoot the three right away.
Got to get a three, and it's got to be right away, obviously in the first 3-4 seconds. And if you're Utah State, you just don't want to foul.
Mathis, MWT.
Somebody got to shoot it.
Here's Mathis. He'll take it. Air ball out of bounds. Last touch by Merrill. 7.2 to go. Lobos ball.
Well, with those 5 seconds going off the clock, it's looking bleak right now for the Lobos.
Got to shoot right away. Mathis. There's the shot. Another air ball, and Bean is pushed down by Jackson, and that should do it. Utah State down as many as 8 in the second half. They turned the ball over 24 times tonight. They only made 6 threes. And they're going to walk away with their 26th victory of the year. And you know what, Coach? Utah State's played a lot of blowouts this year. Double-digit wins in all but 3 of their victories. This could be exactly what this team needed. You're tested, your back's against the wall, an elimination game in the Mountain West tournament, and they responded in a big way.
They really responded in this game. You just have to start wondering what effect this game's going to have on tomorrow night.
Sure.
Because these guys went after them for 40 minutes. Every second, pressure, pressure, pressure. What does it do to their legs for tomorrow night? But for tonight, it's a great win for Utah State. Really tested.
52 points in the second half for Utah State. And Mathis at the horn, no good. Craig Smith and the Aggies are moving on to the semifinals.
A terrific win, not under the best of circumstances, didn't play their best, got tested with a style that they had not seen the entire year, and really couldn't have expected maybe till they saw the tape of New Mexico yesterday. Great job by the Utah State Aggies.
We update the bracket. Utah State, the 3rd team to clinch a spot in the semifinals. They'll play tomorrow night, 11:30 Eastern on CBS Sports Network, against the winner of our nightcap coming up next between Fresno State and Air Force. Utah State, Merrill with 23 points. He was 11 of 12 at the free throw line. Justin Bean, first career double-double, 14 points, 15 rebounds. And Brito, also a real nice night. He had 14 points. And Craig Smith, all smiles. He is with Evan Washburn.
Andrew, thanks. All right, Coach, stick with me here. If I told you prior to this game your team would have 24 turnovers and Sam Merrill would pick up his 4th foul with 8:36 to play in the second half, what would you have told me about the result?
Well, we knew it would be a difficult game in that scenario, but life's about overcoming obstacles. And, you know, the theme of our year has been you got to earn everything. You got to earn it in life. You got to earn victory. You got to always make the next best play. And we have a saying in our program, NBA. And everyone thinks, oh, national basketball. I say, no, it's next best action. And we were a train wreck for a while, and some of that was us, but give New Mexico a lot of credit. They really sped us up. You know, I thought we had 9 days off. They played 3 games since our last game, and we looked a little jumpy, quite frankly, and kind of out of rhythm. But you know what? They took that lead, called the timeout. I think we were down 8. And we just said we're going to find a way to win. Somehow, some way, we're going to find a way to win. And our guys made some big-time plays, including that 3 in the quarter by Diogo Brito.
Coach. It was a wild one to watch. You don't have much time to get ready for the next one, so I'll let you go and get prepared for whoever it's going to be here tomorrow in the semis.
You know, it's March Madness, and you saw two really tight games earlier today and another hotly contested game, and you don't expect anything else in Mountain West and in March Madness specifically.
See you
Am I going to see in the huddles tomorrow, too?
Yeah, if I could get a seat, that might help my legs.
I'm starting to feel like you're a team member, like we need to put you on the salary.
I'm on both ends, bud.
Go Aggies!
Evans, a three-point specialist. The Aggies, hey, maybe we'll put him in tomorrow. For Steve Lapis, Evan Washburn, our entire CBS crew, I'm Andrew Catalan. This has been a presentation of CBS Sports Network, the 24-hour home of CBS Sports. We now send you to our New York studios for Inside College Basketball Bracket Week, presented by Kubota.
Indeed, Inside College Basketball Bracket Week presented by Kubota. Tremendous job by our team out there. We'll get back out to him in about 25 or 30 minutes. Brent Stover, Wally Zerbiak, John Rothstein.
March.
It's been a heck of a day and a night, John, in the Mountain West.
No, it hasn't. Bubble teams across America right now with a collective exhale because New Mexico did not advance. That means Utah State goes to the next round. That means one less bid stealer on the board in the Mountain West Conference. Utah State, one of the great stories this year in college basketball. Craig Smith, a disciple of Tim Miles at Nebraska, coming into Logan, Utah, not just making a statement in the Mountain West, but taking this team to the NCAA tournament. And Wally, they're not limping in.
No, they're not, and thanks to a guy named Sam Merrill. And he was bottled up a little bit at the beginning of the game, but he was looking to pass. He had 9 assists, only took 9 field goal attempts. This is a guy that is not just a scorer. He does so much more out there on the floor. And how about 45 free throw attempts by Utah State? That is the more aggressive team attacking the basket, imposing their will on New Mexico, despite a great effort by Vance Jackson and his 25 points.
You mentioned Sam Merrill, 23 points, 11 of 12 at the stripe. 9 assists. They turn it over 24 times. Can't do that, obviously, going forward the Mountain West tournament, but they get it done 91-83. One more to go in the Mountain West. We'll get you back at the Vegas for that in just a bit. Fresno State and Air Force. In the meantime, Duke, Zion, highlights you definitely want to see next.